Good morning and welcome to news analysis on the Africa Radio on your internet via my social network and all the social network. You can get us beaming live from London. This is news. You're welcome to the the day's news and news analysis on my radio. Stay tuned and do not flip the dial.
On my words on the edge of sombrero. The gringo, sing flows, yes, the cockazoid. Kill Agnes with a glance from the pupil of annoyed. A mic stored in underwear drawers of my dresser. Rhymes from True God, yours is child of Melissa. A lowercase G hanging under the bar. My G's above and beyond and shining bright from afar like North Star. Guided me to Gibson, the major Dr. Stranger. Like Blase Blah bringing danger. In Phantomos of Harmonico sick. Stand tall, surfing ink from Bic. Push the click, now I'm running. Leading down the L-pen shaft. And spin a phonograph to exercise a paragraph, epitaph from killing off the flesh for 808, a low frequency to give you something to hate. We tie words uptight with lasso, with art from the soul, Pablo Picasso, and paintbrush in my discussion when we touching time sublime with rap flow. We tie words uptight with lasso, with art from the soul, Pablo Picasso, and paintbrush in my discussion when we touching Russian hits like Van Gogh. Yo, I ride upon the trail, my heart's pumping oxygen like Indians and moccasins. I've been cheated and crossed, tossed aside. My tribe's trying to survive. The government's rise never came, so I bring the break dance rules to the present action change. Who shot the sheriff? Hold on, bear his rights. Some come up on the bear rap.
These are the news headlines. Julian Assange to be emerged. George Osborne to expedite action on the economy, says Alistair Darling, Labour MP. Let's take the news. Julian Assange is expected to make public statement later on the diplomatic row that has engulfed him since being granted asylum by Ecuador. The WikiLeaks founder reportedly planned to speak outside the Ecuadorian embassy in London, where he has taken refuge. He faces extradition to Sweden over sexual assault claim he has denied. Ecuador's president has suggested that Mr. Assange should cooperate with Sweden if assurances were given that there would be no extradition to the third country. Australian Mr. Assange, 41, whose WikiLeaks website has published a mass of leaked diplomatic cable, embarrassing countries including the US, first walked into the embassy in Knightsbridge, asking for protection 2 months ago. Mr. Assange entered the embassy after the UK Supreme Court dismisses his bid to reopen his appeal against extradition and gave him 2 weeks grace period before extradition proceedings could start. It is established international protocol that local police and security forces are not permitted to enter an embassy unless they have the express permission of the ambassador. But Mr. Assange has been warned by British authority that he would be arrested or forced not to permit to enter the embassy unless they have the permission of the ambassador. But Mr. Assange has been warned by the British authority that he would be arrested when he leaves the embassy. Although WikiLeaks tweet feed revealed his plan to make a statement at the front of the embassy, it is not clear precisely how this would happen. The Sunday Times quotes sources close to Assange, who says he would be prepared to leave the embassy if guarantees are given by Sweden that he would not be extradited to the United States. His supporters claim he could face persecution and even the death penalty. On Friday, Ecuador's President Rafael Correa used his weekly national address to say that the South American country had never said Mr. Assange could not answer to Swedish justice system, quoting him as saying, What we have always asked for is the guarantee that there wouldn't be any second extradition to the third country, as they would put at risk Mr. Assange's life and freedom. He said a letter from the British government that drew attention to the Diplomatic and Consular Premises Act 1987 was intolerable and an explicit threat. The act could allow the UK to potentially lift the embassy's diplomatic status to allow police to enter the building to arrest Mr. Assange for breaching his bail terms. Meanwhile, the ALBA group of leftist Latin American nations founded by Venezuelan President Hugo Chavez has warned the UK authority or UK government it would face grave consequences around the world if it directly breaches the territorial integrity of the embassy. The UK Foreign Secretary has said that the letter had been sent to clarify all aspects of British law that Ecuador should be aware of. It has also said it would allow its obligation under the Extradition Act to arrest Mr. Assange if he leaves the embassy. Sweden, meanwhile, has said it is unacceptable that Ecuador would want to halt the Swedish judicial process. It wants to question Mr. Assange over the allegation that he sexually assaulted two female ex-WikiLeaks volunteers while he was in Stockholm to give a lecture in 2010. The former Chancellor of Great Britain, Alistair Darling, has urged George Osborne to act now on economy. Chancellor George Osborne must change course on the economy, now on course, immeasurable damage. This was said by his predecessor, Alistair Darling, as he won. In an open letter published in the Sunday People, the Labour MP claimed both Mr. Osborne and the Bank of England have given up on any plan for growth. He suggests that more spending on homes, the railway and third Heathrow runway. The government says that Mr. Darling presided over the UK's biggest post-war deficit as Chancellor. It also says he fails to regulate the bank effectively. Mr. Darling's open letter to his Tory successor called for urgent action to promote growth, quoting him as saying, "Your policies since 2010 simply haven't worked. You need another plan, call it Plan B. Call it whatever you like," he adds. "But unless you do something now, it will be years before we recover." Mr. Darling says low interest rate means it is just the time to kickstart some major spending project. This should include replacing aging power stations, investment in a Ray and Heathrow third runway. And George Osborne, "You must build more houses. It helps get Britain out of depression in 1930s, he added. "Most part of the country are short of homes, so we could do with tens of thousands more." And he says the Bank of England should halt its program of quantitative easing, the process by which more money is pumped into the economy until it is clear that banks are passing more cash onto businesses through increased lending. Again, this money is simply not finding its ways out of the bank vault, so the Bank of England should use its powers to make it less attractive for banks to sit on money. Mr. Darling ends the letter by quoting advice from economist Maynard Keynes that when the fact changes, you'll change your mind. The fact have changed, George Osborne. You must change your mind, Mr. Darling added. BBC political correspondent Leigh Watson says Mr. Darling's tone was less partisan than that of Shadow Chancellor Ed Balls. For instance, Mr. Darling says he is sure Labour is keen to work with you on social care issues and welfare reforms. But Mr. Osborne under pressure from some of his own backbenchers, the timing of the intervention was not helpful for our correspondent ideas. A 13-year-old girl has been killed in a horse-riding accident in County Londonderry. It is understood she was taking part in a show-jumping event at Edinburgh Equestrian Centre when the accident happened on Friday evening. The accident was referred to as the Northern Ireland Health and Safety Executive. Derry City Council is taking the lead in investigating what happened. The Duke of Edinburgh to miss service. The Duke of Edinburgh is to miss the royal family visit to morning service at the church near Barrowmore after spending a fortnight in hospital. Prince Philip, 91, remains at Aberdeen Royal Infirmary where he is being treated for a bladder infection. The Queen, Prince of Charles, the Duchess of Cornwall, and the Earl and Countess of Wessex are expected to attend the service at the Christchurch Kirk. Doctors have told the Duke to rest, and he has not received any visitors. The BBC Luna Gordon said the Queen had been out and about in Royal Deeside on Saturday looking reassured, relaxed. She was seen leaving her private estate at Barrowmore, driving herself in 4x4 vehicle and returning a few hours later. The Queen and the royal family are thought to be in constant touch with the Duke during his third hospital stay in 9 months. He spent 4 days in hospital over Christmas following an open operation to clear a blocked heart artery. After attending event to mark the Queen's Diamond Jubilee in June, he was admitted to hospital for 5 nights, missing several days of festivities after sustaining a bladder infection. It is not known if he will be fit to attend the opening of the Paralympics in London on the 29th of August, for which the Queen is due to return to London. The University of Ulster has said it will honor the offer it made to those students by an admission email error, provided they have a full set of their examination result. On Friday, it emerged that 370 students had their unconditional offers withdrawn as a result of the mistake. Only 180 places were available for the engineering courses at the University Georgetown campus. The university says it is looking at offering about 100 extra places. The Dean of its Faculty of Computing and Engineering, Professor Richard Miller, said that because of the decision, the university was likely to overshoot its maximum student number cap and may face a financial penalty. Quoting him as saying, "Only in the course of time will we know how many of these students will accept the offer. But if all the students were to accept offer, we could be looking at an extra 100 students. For all students for whom we have a complete set of examination results, we are able to honor the offer made. These decisions are being communicated to the individual students through UCAS, and we expect them to be confirmed on UCAS track by Sunday evening." The university wishes to reassure applicants that the information recorded on UCAS track and has always been accurate. He said there were 20 students it had not received full set of examination result for decisions on